Guys and dolls, Freedom Dad here, coming live from Ballymena. We're just going to take a walk down the streets where I had done my filming from, and I'm with Michelle Keane. She's come all the way from Ireland to have a look of what's going on in Northern Ireland, and it's a pleasure to have her through. And she's been around and she's seen a lot, and showing her culture and our traditions, what means a lot to us, and you know what drives us, you know. So yeah, just gonna roll with it, guys. So what do you think so far, Michelle?
Oh look, I mean, the marks are still here, like, you know, it's very raw.
Yeah.
Talking to the local community here.
Yep.
But one thing now is for sure is North and South are uniting after this.
Yep.
And the mood is palpable that this could kick off again at any
Of course,
time.
yeah. It just takes one more incident, and it's a powder keg, you know what I mean? And
you know,
we need to speak to our neighbours, and our neighbours need to speak to us.
Yeah.
You know. And it's a big step for us also, those guys, you know. And like I say, I don't represent anybody. I'm just Freedom Dad, and Michelle's just my friend, and that's as far as it goes, you know.
Yeah.
So was this what started? Where was it?
This started up there. There's a few houses up there going.
Right.
So this is where the boat was. This is where the boat was, wasn't it?
The boat was up here, yeah.
The boat was. This is where the boat was. If you remember the boat from my video, this was where the boat was, right here, guys.
Okay.
And this is where that land. No, there was another bit, wasn't there? Because we went right round. So as you can see, Union Jack's up, trying to protect their houses. So the boat was right here, right here.
Some of them now were but the houses that were targeted here are specific Roma houses.
Right.
They were identified, and guys did.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I saw the scenes on the news, you know.
They knew where they were going. They knew who the houses, who lived in the houses. They knew that.
And are they completely gone now?
Well,
or are some of these crime lords still, you know, wandering?
Well, we think maybe there's one or two of the crime bosses still here, although they're living in villages outside the main town of Ballymena now.
Okay. That's concerning still, isn't it?
It's shocking.
Yeah.
Shocking. I mean, police are well aware of what these guys are up to.
And why aren't they doing something about it?
Well, that's what we need answered.
Yeah.
That's what we need answered.
Can you tell Michelle anything about what happened in the Ballymena school?
Yes, I can. It's becoming a wee bit more apparent now what happened. I was contacted and told that police had taken the pupils of Dunclug College into an assembly and warned them that they would take their phones off them. They would go through their social media. If they were guilty of rioting, their parents would be done for child neglect.
Oh my goodness.
So
that actually happened?
That happened, yes. Now, the information at the start was a wee bit confusing.
Right.
Because they took them in groups. Now, whether it was classes or the year or whatever it was, I don't know.
That's insane.
But each one was told a slightly different story.
Oh my gosh.
So when they came out and started telling their parents, and we were looking at it,
yeah,
one group of parents were saying, yes, that's what they told my wee boy, and then the other ones are saying, no, that's not what they told my wee girl.
That's awful, pawning off innocent children.
But they were doing that
with
to
their own spin,
confuse the situation.
Yeah. That's
So
unbelievable.
That's not.
That was only antagonising.
It's sinister.
Yeah,
It's sinister.
yeah.
The same as
unbelievable.
the same as
So
the
guys,
squads.
that's like, yeah, the snat squads, they had the vans. A lot of people are saying they hadn't seen that before, but we've seen that in Belfast, like
Yes.
back in the day, but it was called the
Yeah.
SPG.
Yes.
You remember?
Yeah.
So, you know, now we're going backwards. We're going backwards because of the way the PSNI are behaving. You know, snat squads going into your schools, threatening our kids, warning them, telling their kids that they're going to arrest their parents. Crazy, absolutely crazy. And no actual, and they were also talking about the Roma community, is that right?
Yes, they asked the kids, how would you feel if you were going to bed at night not knowing whether your house was going to be burnt in the morning or not?
Yeah.
Now, there are an awful lot of kids in Northern Ireland that went to bed feeling like that for a long, long time.
Yeah, of course, yeah. And
Well,
like,
It's like
yeah.
terrorising your young
Yeah, so what he's trying to say is like the troubles of Northern Ireland have been here for a long time, and we've never had anything like this before. You know what I mean, guys? So yeah, it is. It's a new era in Northern Ireland right now, and you know, there's only one people responsible, and that's the government for bringing these people in. You know what I mean, guys? But yeah, it is really good to see Michelle coming from the Republic of Ireland, you know, a future politician, I do believe, and coming here and supporting us, and understanding what we're all about, what our culture is about, and seeing our bonfires and stuff like that, you know. So how do you feel about the bonfires, Michelle?
Well, I mean, it was frightening looking on it at the whole thing. It was just unbelievable. I never witnessed anything like it. You know, the whole 32 counties of Ireland were, you know, in unity with the people of Ballymena. Like, nobody wants this coming in. I mean, we're a Catholic Christian country. You know, Protestants and Catholics, there's very little between us all. And, you know, at a time like this, unity is what's needed in the island of Ireland, because until we start closing our borders and saying no to Muslims coming in, trying to take over our churches, our schools, you know, I don't know what agenda is going on, but there obviously seems to be some world forum agenda where they're trying to genocide the Irish people, both Catholics and Protestants, in our own country. And I think now is the time to unite.
Yep. And like when she's saying unite, it's not like unite like the countries like as in on all Ireland. It's unite together as people just talking and communicating.
Like people, you know, we shouldn't forget our pasts on both sides. The past and the people that bled for both sides of the border here. I'd be for, like, you know, saying we have to accept that and move on now for the next generation. Wouldn't it be lovely if Catholic and Protestants, boys and girls, could walk down the street hand in hand together and argue over a football game instead of arguing over a flag?
Yeah, and
I think that day is
Have you felt safe coming to Northern Ireland, and you've been in some hardline areas?
The
How many Union Jacks and Ulster flags have you seen?
I've seen an awful lot, but you know, at the end of the day, I respect everyone and their opinions. We might vary in opinions or whatever, but we're all one in this country. You know, there's 32 counties now. If we don't stand together, you know, I feel both the British government and the Irish government and Sinn Féin have caused huge divisions within our country, and you know, that's a lot of the blame. But Sinn Féin's days in the south of Ireland are finished.
Yeah, well, I think they're finished in the west.
And I think they're finished from what I'm hearing about and meeting the people here in the north. I think their days are finished up here as well, because
they're feeling their community.
You know, they're replacing the Irish people. It's genocide what they're doing, and let's call a spade a spade. This is human trafficking. What's happening in this country with unvetted migrants coming in, and until we start closing the borders and saying no passports, no entry, I don't think this is going to subside. But you see, yesterday the protest in Dublin, there was nearly 100,000 people protesting.
Yeah, it was a great day.
Fantastic. And now there's Waterford protest is coming up, I believe, on the 26th, and then Galway is having a peaceful protest on the 2nd of August, and you know, we'll be back up in Dublin again very soon, protesting again. And you know, the Irish people now have had enough. But yesterday, even the amount of Northern Ireland people that came down to support the peaceful protest yesterday was overwhelming. People like came down, and lots of people from Monaghan said to me, Michelle, you have the whole county of Monaghan backing you in what you're doing. And you know, we need to keep exposing freedom, the corruption that's going on. You know, in the whole country, because we need to call out our governments and the corrupt politicians, what
Yep.
they're doing.
Yep, 100%.
Because it's just absolutely appalling. But I'm very privileged and humbled to be here in Ballymena today, in solidarity with the people of Ballymena. And it's very sad when you see houses boarded up.
Yeah, we've just got here. We
You
just
know,
came from Belfast, and you've had a good
Belfast,
tour of Belfast.
yeah,
And you've met
Belfast,
some
and yeah,
some
it's-
guys. Not
met-
saying any names, but
yeah, met
you,
some great people in Belfast. Yeah,
Yeah.
and like,
and this is my way of saying thank you to everybody in Southern Ireland and Dublin who have welcomed me.
Yeah.
This is my way of saying thank you by welcoming you guys up through to here as well, and letting you know that you are safe. It's the troubles are long gone.
yeah,
And
we need to move on to the next chapter.
Yeah,
now,
yeah,
and get peace and unity for both sides.
Yep, yep.
Of the community.
Yep. So, do you want to take it up somewhere else? Is there anywhere else we can go? Just a wee bit short.
You can get down to these two.
So this is the bit where this was the middle bit, wasn't it?
That's the crossroads where.
I just want to do one video.
That's okay. Yeah. I'm just going to do a wee walk and talk anyway. So, what's the general feeling like, Alan, in the area right now? Everything's nice and calm, peaceful, and
Everything's calm and peaceful on the surface.
yeah,
There's still an awful lot of tension
right,
bubbling under it.
yeah,
Are these people going to come back?
yeah.
Are the politicians?
Where did they go? Do you know?
Well, obviously some went to Larne Leisure Centre.
Yeah, that didn't last very long.
No.
So, where do you think they went after? I've seen them going on a plane.
Yes, some of them have went home.
Yeah.
Some of them have went home.
Right.
The others, I think, are being shifted around different hotels
Right.
in
Right.
Northern Ireland
Yep.
at the minute. And we do not want them back. We don't want them back.
Yeah, fair enough, mate. That's fair enough, because you've been scarred by what's happening, and we're not talking about what went on and the troubles in Ballymena with all the ratting.
Yes.
We're talking about what they've done to the community,
Yes.
like the brothels and asking girls and drug dealing and all the rest of it. So this isn't just something that sparked off with one child. This has been going on for a long time, and a lot of people don't realise that, guys. The people in Ballymena are the only ones that know the truth. You know what I mean? And it's our job as citizen journalists to bring that truth to you, because our mainstream media are trying to hide the truth. They don't want you to know how bad these people were and how they were behaving in Ballymena, and how people in Ballymena were feeling, how the mothers and fathers were feeling about these men asking their children for sex and asking them to pay them money and asking them what's under their tops and stuff like that. We got eyewitnesses accounts when I was here doing my live. The big live, it got 140,000 views and brought the turmoil of Ballymena to the world. And that's what it's all about, guys. It's not about likes and money or making money. As you know, I don't monetize my channel. I've got to buy me a coffee. That's it. We're here to bring the truth to the world of what's going on in Northern Ireland, because nobody else is doing it for us. We want more citizen journalists to come out and do what I'm doing.
The thing is, you're not going to get the truth in mainstream media
Absolutely not.
because it's been paid off and bought off.
Yeah.
I look at Ireland now and I look at RTE. We the Irish people are funding RTE. We've paid millions, for bailouts,
Yeah.
for a corrupt media station now that's turning its own back and putting its own spin in it, and calling anyone now that's against these unvetted migrants, they're calling us racist and far right. We're not racist and we're not far right, we're just right. We're calling it out.
See, to be honest with you, but we are getting to the stage now where we don't care. We'll, if they want to call us far right for what our beliefs and our views, then we'll take that. We've got to take it.
Our government in Ireland, Micheál Martin, our Taoiseach, he's more concerned about the people of Palestine than he is about his own
it's same as
native
Sinn
Irish
Féin.
people. He called us mongrels there 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the Prime Minister, the Taoiseach of our country, calling his own native people mongrels? And to think he hasn't resigned or been forced out of office is absolute. The day is coming for all these guys.
Yeah.
They will be held accountable.
Yeah. Good.
Because this cannot keep going, and we can't sustain.
Yeah.
This is.
I'm just going to show them this house over here. This here. So the reports that this was a brothel. This is from the locals, and I've heard this a few times now. And that's. Is that a double house? One entrance.
It's two houses.
Two houses. So that's the door to that house. These go, guys. So yeah, this was a concern, you know what I mean? And why the police? the PSNI weren't raiding these places? I don't know, you know what I mean? Like I say, it's probably the same reason why the grooming gangs got away with it for so long. Afraid to offend people, afraid to highlight what's going on, because then people would be aware and maybe do something about it, like you seen what happened. But it took a horrific thing to happen to a child for this to happen, and to be honest with you, there was no other outcome, guys. And this is a message to the PSNI, you know, there's no point hiding this kind of thing. You need to get on top of it, get these guys in jail, treat them the way you would treat us, you know what I mean? I've never heard of a brothel in a street in any of our towns, to be honest with you, you know what I mean? It's very strange, it's very, very strange, you know. You know, at the end of the day, it's a new thing to us, and it's understandable. But like I say, you need to be on the ground in Ballymena. You need to speak to the people of Ballymena to really understand what's going on, and that's the whole point of why people are coming down here. Richard Inman's been down, a couple of other YouTubers been down. You know, Michelle's asked could she come and have a look. Not a problem, Michelle. You know what I mean? Like I say, the love I get in Dublin and the respect I get from you guys, this is my way of saying thank you. You know what I mean? And yeah, it is all pretty sad, like, you know what I mean? But you know, what can you do? What can you do? We're not in control of things, you know what I mean? We're just trying to pick ourselves up after stuff, you know what I mean, and get on with our lives. And yeah, we've had many years of conflict and many years of problems, but this is on another level, like, you know what I mean? Yeah, people are worried. You know, people are worried. People don't want to see the violence, guys, on the streets. They don't want to see houses being burnt out. These are our houses. You know what I mean? That's an Northern Ireland house. Okay, that's one of our houses that got burnt out there. So it is, and you've always got to remember that. You know, and you know, fighting with the police and throwing stuff, petrol bombs and paint bombs, that's not the answer, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, the answer was in the hands of the PSNI. The answer is in the hands of the government, you know? If they don't get it right, then it's only down to us. The answer can only be left to us if they don't get it right. You've got to understand that. These guys have got, the people, the citizens of Northern Ireland have got no choice, you know? You know, at the end of the day, we're not going to stand by and let people come into our country and treat our kids and behave in a way where we would never get away with. You know, I mean, if I was one of our guys or any paramilitary organisations on either side were running a brothel, the doors would be going in within a week, you know what I mean? And guys carted off to jail and all sorts, you know what I mean? So there's no way they didn't know about this, you know what I mean? And yeah, then you got the drug dealing and all the rest of it. And you see them with the wads of money when they were doing the videos, the TikToks when they were leaving the country, not waving the money and all the stuff they were saying and all that. And you know, it's just speaks volumes. It speaks volumes. And you know, this isn't about Islam, you know, this isn't about Muslims or nothing. This is just about irregular and illegal and mass immigration coming into Northern Ireland. And you know, this will lead the way. If you know, these guys would have led the way for others, and then we would have seen more and more coming in, like we see in Dublin and in Southern Ireland and obviously in England, you know. So yeah, guys, yeah, it's just a wee quick live. It's not going to be a long live. It's just like you know that Michelle Keen's came all the way down, and I've had a really good day with her. Been around Belfast and Bangor as well, and yeah, showed her the bonfires and showed her all the murals and explained to her about, you know, and she's interviewed one. She not interviewed, but she spoke to one of our guys. And I just wanted them to be frank and open and honest, you know what I mean? Because I like her to know what it means to us, what our culture means to us, the 12th of July, the 11th of July, the Unionism, being part of the Union, you know, how much it means to us. You know, it's important that people from the south come down and actually see us, come into our areas, have a look at our traditions and our cultures and see what it means to us, you know what I mean? So there's no confusion going forward here whenever we try and communicate with each other, and you know, there's no like with the rhetoric of an all Ireland and all that, because we don't want to go back to fighting, and we don't want them thinking, oh, we're all nicey right now, we're just going to give up our 6 counties. That's not going to happen. And the only way you're going to see that in Southern Ireland is by coming in and seeing us and seeing what we've got and what we have and what we've created and how long it's been going for. And you know, there's no hatred there at all. You know, we're just trying to understand each other and go forward so we can protect each other. You know, we've got own borders. Ireland's in trouble, you know what I mean? You know, and when they get it right, you know what I mean? When they do get it right, these guys are going to be leaving in their thousands, you know, because it's not going to be a nice place for them. I assure you that. And the right-wing government get in, things are going to change in Ireland, and these guys are going to be down straight into Northern Ireland. So we need to have this communication. We need to understand what's going on. We don't want, they don't want to push their troubles into us, you know what I mean? We don't want to push our troubles into them, and vice versa with England and Northern Ireland and Scotland and Wales, you know what I mean? So these are all the things that we need to be ready for as we go forward, because we will go forward positively. We will have a right-wing government. We will stop illegal immigration. We will stop mass immigration. We will stop the push of Islam in their country. There's no two ways about it. It's not happening here, guys, you know what I mean? And you know, I don't know what else to say to you. I'm not here spewing hatred or being far-right or racist. I'm telling you the feelings on the streets and how volatile this place is. And if you keep pushing this kind of stuff in this country, then of course there's going to be more children harmed, and maybe worse, maybe unalived. And then you're not going to know your arse from your elbow. Then, like, you know what I mean? The police are going to be so overwhelmed, and it's just. And I mean this, guys. I know the feelings on the street. I know how quick this place will go up, and yeah. We do support Ireland, and Ireland supports us, you know, and this is the first time ever that we have been reaching out like this, and it is a big step, and it's a hard step, it's a difficult step for me, you know, and a lot of people don't get this and, you know, believe that the people in the island are our enemy and I'm colluding with the enemy and all that, you know what I mean? But I'm freedom dad, you know what I mean? I'm just freedom dad looking out for my daughter and trying to get things right for my country, and also trying to protect my 6 counties and what we've known and lived and breathed all our lives. That's all I'm doing, guys. No hidden agendas, nothing else, you know what I mean? I'm honest and upfront with everybody, you know, and yeah, it's the only way we can be, you know what I mean? You know, if we get all this sorted out with immigration, we can go back to fighting each other if that's what everybody wants, you know what I mean? I'm fucking up for anything, to be honest with you guys, you know. You know, like I say, we're all the nationalists, the Republicans and the loyalists, we're hardliners, we're hardcore, you know what I mean? We believe in what we believe in, and we won't give an inch. And yes, that is a problem, but who knows what the future holds for us, you know? Maybe one day after all this, the Southerners will go, you know what, we're not really caring about the 6 counties. These aren't a problem. You haven't caused us any problems. You have reached out the hand of friendship. You have been there when you needed us, and I hope that'll go through into history, and they'll protect our children and my grandchildren as we go forward. And that's what I hope, you know what I mean? I hope for a peaceful future for our children, where we can live next to each other and no one to fight with each other, and that's the goal, you know. And that way we can protect each other going forward, you know. If something goes wrong with Britain and England and Scotland in the next 10, 15, 20 years, then at least we know we've got each other, you know. And that's what it's about, you know. We're trying to we're having our options open, guys. That's all we're doing, having all our options open. So we're definitely up for making sure everything's safe, and we keep these bad men out of our country. That's all we're doing, guys, you know. So yeah, just going to get a wee backdrop of this before I wrap it up. You just want to move along a wee touch so I can get just. There we go. So yeah, a lot of stuff people don't know about Ballymena. A lot of stuff people don't know about the troubles of the last couple of weeks, you know what I mean? And yeah, it's not just as clear cut and dry as just a child allegedly, I can hate saying that, guys, but you know, because of the ongoing case, gang raped, you know, and you know, there's a lot more to it than that, you know what I mean? And you wouldn't even, some people don't even know why the big people were ratting, because none of the news broadcasters even touched on that. They just wanted to tell you how far right and racist everybody was. Forget about the kids, you know, forget about the drug dealing, forget about the brothels, you know. Oh, we're just all far right and racist, you know what I mean? Listen, guys, it was long coming, you know. Like I say, and this is going to happen in our cities and towns around Northern Ireland, because it's long coming in these other cities, and you know, people can see what's going on. They feel, you know, these guys are getting away with it because of the 2-tier. They're able to do whatever they want because the government are too scared to highlight what they're doing, because they know how much trouble it will bring. Well, guys, he's either highlighted what they're doing, or you're going to end up highlighting what we're doing, and you don't want that. I know you don't want that, because we go worldwide. We will take everything worldwide. With citizen journalists, we will bring it to the world what's going on in our countries from now on. We will not need we don't need mainstream media anymore. We are the new mainstream media for our people, and as you can see, that's the way it's going. Yeah. So you all good?
We're all good now. We're all good.
Right, I'm still running live, so I am. Yeah. So you just want to say cheerio to everybody, Freedom Dad's community.
Everyone in Freedom Dad's community. Look, the whole of Ireland is behind you here in Ballymena. And look, aren't you so lucky to have a citizen journalist like Freedom Dad here?
Thank you.
Reporting
Don't make me blush.
The truth of what's happening to your beautiful towns and villages in the north. And look, it's actually very sad here when you actually look.
It is,
look
because
around
these
the
are our
city.
houses. This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
These are our houses that
Yeah.
we've burnt out. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
you know,
But like you've had no option. But
exactly,
you know,
exactly. If the police had dealt with these things
Yeah.
at the start, you know, then we wouldn't have. Our young men and women wouldn't have to deal
Yeah.
with them. You know what I mean?
Isn't it sad to think that, you know, the rape of a child of 13?
Allegedly,
you know,
we've
yeah.
got to say allegedly because
Yeah.
it's an ongoing case. It's just
Yeah.
legalities
But
of
isn't
YouTube.
isn't it sad to think though it had to take that to come to this? You know.
Yeah, well, that's in the hands of the police and
Yeah.
the local government. That's not down
Yeah.
to the citizens, and it's not down to the children in their schools. Out of
Yeah.
order, so you are doing that,
Yeah.
and we will be covering more of it. I'll be coming back to interview some parents and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Anybody reach out to me if you want me to come and see. Reach out to me. Freedom Dad FD on Facebook. You can get me on Messenger and or TikTok. You can send me a message on TikTok. Drop me your number. I'll give you a phone and I'll come and interview you if you've got any information or anything that'll help the rest of the people in Northern Ireland and Ireland understand what's going on and how we stop this and how we stop us burning our own houses out, because that's the important thing, to try and stop all this, the riots and burning stuff and
Yes.
and
Yeah.
our kids being harassed in school.
Yeah.
You know, we don't want none of that.
No
But
one
like I
wants
say,
that, but like, look,
yeah, if the police don't do their job, the citizens of Northern Ireland will.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, that's it. Like even in the south now, the Irish people are waking up to the government, and we're not putting up with this cobbled together Irish government anymore. We're not working for the people. These politicians were selected, not elected, and you know, people now are sick of it, and that's it. So look, thank you so much.
No problem. It's been
Thank
a
you.
pleasure. Thank you
God
for
bless.
coming.
Thank you all.
Right, guys,
Bye.
I'm going to wrap it up. So, all my love. I'll maybe do a wee live later on, catch up. Still got a bit of travelling to do and stuff like that. But yeah, it's been a really successful day for patriots in Northern Ireland and Ireland. And like I say, well, you know, like the old saying, it's one small step for Freedom Dad, one giant leap for the patriots. You know, so God bless, guys.